I mean, we all love good pictures, don't we? And it gets worse if someone takes your picture and they don't show you. You know that feeling, right? But we have someone on the show who doesn't just take great pictures, who doesn't just show you, but ensures that those moments are preserved for life, particularly for young people, children. At this rate, everybody wants to be young at heart, so maybe all of us can fall into that category. Joining us on the show this morning is a beautiful Adesuwa Eworo. She's an architect and photographer, lead at Captured by Adesuwa Photography. She's right here with us in our Lagos studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome
Good morning,
to the
everyone.
Morning Brief.
Good morning.
So you're a model, apparently, and a photographer at the same time. How does it work? Because you look picture perfect. Right?
I was wondering.
You were wondering,
where
right?
the whole model came from.
I know. Was that what inspired you to get into photography? Because you're an architect as well. I'm sure you... Maybe people will take your pictures and you're like, you didn't take it well. You didn't take my angle well. You know what? I'm going to get into this.
I'm actually quite camera shy.
No
Super
way.
Camera shy. Yeah, I do a photo shoot for myself just once a year.
Come on.
And it has to be my birthday.
So tell us about your journey. I'm really intrigued by your mind and the work you do. You're an architect, as I said, and a photographer. So how did all of this come together to become who you are today?
Pretty much growing up, I was an artistic child, a creative child. I once thought I would study medicine, but when I started seeing blood, and I'm like, no way, that can't be me. And then over time, I noticed that I love having things in order. I like following process or procedures, and what better way to combine process and creativity than architecture. And also with my dad used to be a photography enthusiast, so he had a camera and he would document everything we did, coming out of the car, we're sitting in the living room, we were always having, as at that time we didn't know he was taking pictures, but when we would see like a whole lot of throwbacks, we're like, oh, that's what he was doing. And then my love for children as well. My mom would tell me that some of her friends would have their kids and they would request that I come over and stay with them just because I was like a baby whisperer. I could help soothe their babies to sleep. So I went forward to study architecture, but I knew that there was something more for me. Well, in hindsight, I believe I knew there was something more for me. And I'd love to take pictures back in secondary school. If you go to my Facebook page, all my friends, if they're looking for throwbacks, they go there and they get their pictures. So I would take every activity in school. And I just knew that, okay, there could be something. And just from there, I got a camera back in school. Oh, my dad says no photography while I was studying architecture because he felt like, oh, it would be a distraction and all of that. But my mom, you know how mothers can be now, sneakily kind. She went ahead and got someone who got me a camera, and then I could document more and more and more and all of that. And from there, I just knew that I wanted to do photography. I think I've only practiced architecture maybe for like, in my lifespan, photography 8 years, maybe architecture 3 or 4 years, literally. Yeah, so I've done more photography in my life than architecture, but we still dabble into it here and there. But ultimately, I knew it had to be photography.
Well, Adesuwa, they say when you have that gift already of drawing or something that has to do with craft, you will be very good at paying attention to detail. If you're a photographer, a baker, you know, things that have to do with you creating something with your hands. So I understand that point, but how come children, I know you've said you love children, but to deal with them, I mean, I have my nephew who had his birthday yesterday and he's in my house. I mean, they're in my house for the holidays, for the Easter holidays, and just to put him on the table with his cake to take a picture was war. So how do you deal with these kids when they come?
So it's always very interesting to give a response to this. The honest truth is we're working with children. You need to come down to their level. You can't be high and mighty because they are the mighty ones in the room at that point. So typically you have to let go of your seriousness and be as goofy as possible. I wish I could have gotten some BTSs from sessions, but I would look like a scarecrow, throwing myself around, rolling on the floor. So typically when working with children, you need to know that, you need to know their attention span. it's very, very short. So you need to maximize the windows you have. You have to have elements they love in the room. So typically during a session, we have like their favorite songs, things they're familiar with. Make sure the environment is conducive, that they know that, oh, I can trust this person. It's also very important to build trust with children, because you think maybe only adults trust, but children are literally just coming from heaven, so they still have that sensitivity, so they can tell when someone is trying to be forceful, they can tell when someone is trying to build their trust, and when someone is being genuine. So ultimately come down to their level, be genuine with them, be as goofy as possible with them. So yeah, that's
so how much patronage do you get? Because I remember someone said that talking about children, and someone said they are unemployable bosses. Unemployable bosses.
They are.
So how much patronage do you get at the end of the day, in terms of is it that your studio is always filled? Because it's difficult to deal with them. It's quite a challenge.
So it's quite a, should I say, use the word sentimental? It's quite a sentimental genre of photography, whereby parents really want to watch their children grow. And what best way is in pictures or in videos, right? And so we are literally booked out every week. We work 4 times a week. And every day we could have maybe like 2 sessions a day, or 1 if possible. So we're literally booked, because every parent wants to document the newborn stage, 6-month stage, when they start walking, when they start teething, you know. So it's such an emotional journey with children. I have clients we've shot from year 1 to year 7, and when you do like a throwback, and you're like, wow, this was the child who made us roll and somersault during their newborn sessions or 1-year session, and here they are really posing, having conversations with you, telling you, oh, Auntie Adesuwa, can I do this instead? And it's just so mind-blowing, because you can really appreciate growth outside maybe business and all of that, but literally seeing a human being grow, begin to articulate words, it's so amazing.
Absolutely, and the work you're doing is as well. And the purpose of this conversation is not just to tell your story, but to help people see how you can connect your passion, your talents, and your dreams, how you can connect that to a viable business and make it something that can sustain you. I mean, we know what the unemployment rate is in Nigeria. We know how people finish from school and they're all around trying to get jobs. So help us understand how you handle the business side of it, because a lot of people who are talented, you know, they have some good talent, they can sketch, they're good with lines and stuff. By the way, you're still practicing architecture, because you're building memories, constructing memories. So tell us how you were able to connect the dots, passion into a business that is sustainable, that has a good structure, and is making good money for you and employing others, I imagine.
Yes. Was there something I tell everyone that cares to listen, that when you want to venture into anything, especially when you don't have prior knowledge or you don't even have the resources to get proper training, have the heart of service. Because when you are willing to serve, you are willing to do any and everything to grow and stretch yourself. A lot of people now are going for the money. You don't want to build character, you don't want to build capacity, you're just looking for the money, the money, the money. I mean, it's been God that has helped thus far, but then I know that there's a place for service, there's a place for giving your all. So I would say be ready to serve, be ready to do a lot of free work here and there, because you need to build your portfolio, you need to be known, be ready to burn the candlelight, be willing to just leave your comfort zone if possible. But service is of utmost importance for me. It's a number.
All right, Adesuwa. I mean, for people or parents at home right now watching you who have noticed that their kids have some, well, Kayode, let me just tell you, I can sketch, I can draw. And that started from very little. So all of us in my house, I mean, we have that talent. Don't worry, I'll sketch you after the show. But I mean, we all had our books, which we all go back to as little as 2, 3. We started sketching, and my parents noticed that, but none of us ever took it as a business or whatever. But so talking about parents who have noticed that in their kids, what advice would you give them to help their kids nurture that talent and probably turn it into a business someday?
Okay, I'll say it's important for parents not to stifle their children's skills. If possible, enroll them in programs, summer classes, weekend classes, cheer them on when they start doing things like this. So for us at Captured by Adesuwa, we're branching into a kids club that will help foster more children's skills and talent, and also in their faith as well. Because it is one thing to be so skillful and know how to do, and there's another place where morals and values would help to nurture that skill. Because you could do all the drawing, you could do all the painting, you could do all the baking, but character hasn't been formed. So I believe it's very important for parents to find programs that can help build those children's skills and gifts ultimately. Yeah.
Well, Adesuwa, we could go on and on. It's actually quite interesting and intriguing listening to you and your journey, and we're glad you've come this far, and we hope that young people can get inspired by what you've done. We've been speaking with Adesuwa, who's an architect, practiced for 3-4 years. More a photographer now. She's lead at Captured by Adesuwa Photography. Thank you so much for your time on the show. I wish you the very best.
Thank you so much. Have a beautiful morning.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We'll go to break now, and when we return, we're turning our attention to that big conversation, the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Plan. The Minister of Works, Senator Dave Umahi, is here in the building, and we'll be walking through some of those big questions you have in your mind and the ambitious plan of his government. That's in just about a few seconds, so stay with us.